Welcome to This Week in Loveland Tiger Sports here on lovelandtigers.org and ESP Media powered by Sidearm Sports. I'm Jason Griefer, and once again, we're joined by Loveland Athletic Director Brian Knatzer. Brian, good to talk to you once again. How's Tiger Nation?
Jason, good afternoon. Tiger Nation is moving forward. We're excited for the upcoming events this week and just want to give a shout out to everybody out there in Tiger Nation. Good afternoon. Happy Monday.
Yes, good to be back talking to Tiger Nation. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about your boys' golf team. We've bragged on them a lot this fall, and rightly so. They remain unbeaten in league play. You're going to get Lebanon coming up this week. They're 5-1, so they're right on your heels for the top of the standings. Is your team looking at this match as a way to maybe make a statement as we head towards the end of the regular season because you have the ECC championship next week?
Well, I mean, I'll just tell you, just to give a couple of recaps. I mean, they're playing right now as we speak. How fortunate is to be a high school kid right now. So, obviously, finished second Saturday at Springboro, which was their invitational with a 312 as a team. So, Joe Janikowski, how about this, with the fourth win at a 75. Tyler Valle at sixth with a 76. Anthony Moran, that's that new kid on the block, right? He finished ninth with a 78. So top 10 finishes in 18-hole tournaments. I mean, obviously, this stuff is important because this is what gets you the points for those district honors. So pretty excited for those kids. And yesterday, Tyler finished second at the Hadley Invitational at Glenview with a 71. So kids are strong. They play some good golf. And you're right. Tomorrow it's at Shaker Run, and I think it's the next ECC battle. And currently we got to look at this day so we can see, what's behind us, because next week, Jason, next week's the big one.
Yep.
So that's the ECC championship. So, I think that's just, tomorrow is just one more day to get to that ECC championship. So excited to be a part of that.
You talked about some of the individual guys and the way they've been playing, and we've touched on it in previous shows. And you look at the leaderboard as far in the ECC, and it's littered with Tigers from top to bottom. There, do you feel like you have the ECC Player of the Year on this roster? I'm not saying specify who it could be, but do you feel like one of your guys could win Conference Player of the Year?
I think they deserve that opportunity to compete for that. I think they're that good. I think they're that talented. I think they're that well coached. So yes, I mean, for certain, that's something that they're going to compete for. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, a lot of different guys to choose from as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Girls on the other side, we talked about the boys having the ECC championship next week. The girls have got it this week. How are we feeling? How are they looking heading into that?
So that's going to be on Thursday for all of Tiger Nation. So we're excited about that. Amy continues to kind of lead our team. She had the number one position all season. Her best round was a 42 at Walden, so she can get in there and compete. She's getting better as we go along. We got a couple new kids. Megan Smith, who's coming. She's coming along. She was JV last year, and now she's kind of coming in. Worked herself into this number 2 spot, so a little young there. And then we have senior Ryan Smith, who's new to the team, and then junior Caroline Sproul, who has got that 5th and 6th spot pretty well isolated. So, hey, look, Jason, they're improving. They're working hard. Great teamwork, strong work ethic, all the things that you would want out of a girls' golf team. These girls are doing it, and they're getting better each time. So we're great with that.
Let's put it all together and win a title on Thursday. It'd be pretty good. Let's move on to the pitch. Absolutely. Let's move on to the pitch. Let's talk about boys soccer. Of course, going for the three-peat in the league right now. Interesting week this week. You're currently sitting 1-1 in the league, so you're in a tie for third. But again, it's early. But you've got Little Miami coming up on Tuesday. They have not won a game at all this season. And then you've got Kings on Thursday, who's sitting tied at the top at 2-0. So very interesting going polar opposites there. And looking at this, do the boys maybe feel any added pressure to get both of these games, knowing that Milford and especially Kings are ahead of them early in league play?
Yeah, I don't know if they feel the pressure. I do think they had a tough loss versus Milford last week. I think they learned a lot from that. So to your point, I don't think it's pressure, but I think they got something to prove that, hey, we belong up the very top of this ECC bracket. And I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see, tougher play and trying to claw our way back up to the top. And it's, like you said, it's tough. We had, Saturday we had a cancellation with Sycamore,
Mm-hmm.
on a Friday afternoon. So that was tough.
Yeah.
Boys wanted an opportunity to come out and play. We didn't get that. So they're a little bit more hungry come this week. So like you said, it's conference play. And the guys want to show what they can do. And, I think we finished the week traveling to number 2 Mason on Saturday night.
They're not bad.
There is, yeah, no rest for these kids. So they want the opportunity to advance in the league and also to show that, hey, we can compete in the city as well. And I think we're going to do that. So excited for them.
The girls are doing that as well, and then some. They're undefeated thus far at 5-0, giving up 1 goal thus far on the season, 4 shutouts, and then the one in the last match here. You've got Little Miami coming up. They're 1-0-1 in the league, and we talked about how good they are defensively, and that starts in net. Eva Dudek has been spectacular, 4 shutouts already. She leads the ECC. The keepers always get the focus, right? Because, they're the last line of defense. They're the ones stopping the shots that come in. But she's only faced 9 shots in these 5 matches thus far, made 8 saves and gave up 1 in the last match. But what have the coaches said about the defense line in front of her early on in the season? Because, like, as I said, 9 shots allowed in 5 matches. That's really, really strong.
Yeah, you got some pretty strong defensemen back there. Caps Cabbage comes to mind right away, right? I mean, they're just a tough unit. They fight hard. They are a very physical team.
Yeah.
And it's clearly evident if you come watch a game. I mean, they're putting everything out there, and our opponents feel it. I'm sure they go home a little bruised and banged up, and that's because they're very well coached. They put in the effort, they put in the time, and they understand what that culture is. If you talk to Coach Kelly right now, he'll tell you, is that they're still trying to find their rhythm right now and try to get into some cohesive play moving forward. With conversations with him, he just feels it's a little disjointed because they didn't have the preseason scrimmages, and they're trying to get all that out of the way. So they've had a couple come from behind second halfers to kind of get out in front and win these ball games. So they're a little tighter than I think what that coaching staff would like it to be. But Jason, that's very encouraging. I mean, if the coaches are feeling this way, and yet the girls find a way, and you're right, you mentioned defense. That defense is top notch. They're still finding a way to continually battle through every game and to come out with the win. So I just think their best is still yet to come. They really focus on, yes, now is important and getting those wins now and developing as a team, but they are really focused on October as well. So we'll see that as we go out throughout the season.
You mentioned the toughness and the physicality with which they play. Are you glad you're able to watch them from the sidelines and you're not in the mix with them?
They're brutal. I mean, I don't know if you see some of these kids, the way they work the ball, the way they throw the ball in, they're strong. Kids they're on the ground. The opponent's on the ground. They're laying themselves out. They're fun to watch. I mean, people walk away from the game going, that is a physical team. And they've been doing this for years, and they put in the training, both in the weight room. They put on training on the field. So they don't shy away from being physical and to training their body. So watch it. I'm sure Tiger Nation will agree with me. Yeah. It is a very physical female team.
So just to be clear, Brian Knatzer has no desire whatsoever to actually get on the pitch and interact with them and try to move the ball through that defense. I just want to clear that up.
Yeah, I don't even think I would want to try the header on their corner kicks. They have some pretty powerful.
I can't blame you because I'm just going to take a shot here. You're going to lose that one. Let's move on. Let's talk about cross country here. And boy, there's a lot to talk about here with how they performed in the Mason Invite, both individually and as a team against some of the best competition in the state. I'll let you take it from here because this was a banner performance from your squads, was it not?
Yeah, and I'm going to take a week back too and talk about our Loveland cross country invite we had because we didn't have that. We weren't able to have some conversation. But the girls, I'll talk about the girls first.
Sure.
Obviously, they won. They won our cross country invite here that we hosted at Home of the Brave. Emmy Sager, who she had won the week prior as well. I mean, she's running an 18:53 at our invite. Sarah Maddox, she had a great day as well. I think she ended up third in our invite with the 1918. Other standouts: Ellie Carr, Ainsley Richards, Allie Colgate. These kids are running hard. They're running fast. They're well coached. They're on a mission. And to your point, yeah, Sarah Maddox. So 300, if I remember this correctly, talking with Coach Nestor, 347 Division I runners at the Mason Invite. And Sarah Maddox had the second fastest time with the 1932. So she did an outstanding job.
Yeah.
And they're still undefeated in the ECC as well. So congratulations to that team and what they're doing. On the boys' side of it, for our cross-country invite, they took first Top Tigers, which you're going to hear this kid's name a lot, Ryan Chevalier, came in first, 1606. Brady Steiner was in on that. AJ Stutz, who you always hear, Sam Niger, Caden Dwyer, and there's a couple other kids, Grant Hansen, Alex Saletta. So I mean, there's different names we could use interchange in here. So really excited for that team. They finished first again, if I didn't mention that at our invite, and then went to Mason. And I don't know if you saw Melanie Loffman's tweet and all her group that was taking all the pictures down there. Ryan Chevalier had a come from behind victory to win the individual title at Mason with a 16-14. So, I mean, it was a great photo shot. If you're able to get on Twitter, and we retweeted that, go look at those pictures. A lot of pictures throughout all of our Tigers. So really excited as well for these guys as we're moving closer and closer to that postseason. The boys as well, undefeated in the ECC. So we're actually hosting the ECC down the road here a little bit, but we're kind of finalizing all of those details. So excited for that team.
And as you should be, it's 2 spectacular performances in a row. That's a really good sign as we move forward through the season. Let's move on to volleyball. A bit of a slow start right now in the league, right around the 500 mark, though. But it had senior night this past Saturday, as we saw also on the social media there. Talk to us about some of those seniors, because this is an important group. They've helped deliver 3 straight ECC titles coming into this year.
Yeah, and it's really a different group than what it was last year. So it's finding your momentum, your voice, and you're right. We're on a 3-day skid for right now for girls volleyball, but they've put that behind them. We've got business to take care of, and they're a good group. They're an athletic group. They'll work it out. I mean, they're playing three games a week. We host Little Miami tonight, and we turn right around tomorrow and head out to Anderson, which is going to be tough. And then we host Kings on Thursday. So yeah, our seniors got to work together. We do. We have a large amount of seniors that are going to put this best foot forward here. And I mean, there is never a dull moment for those girls. It's a very busy, very hectic schedule, and they'll come through. They continue to work hard. It's a tough season, but it's also a long season. So we have plenty of time to pick up on some of the gaps that we have. And I know those girls are going to do that. They're coached very well.
Would it be fair to say at this point, given that we are still early in the season, there's in the conference season, there's still a lot to be played, there is no sense of like concern or worry at this point, because given that, you're coming off 3 straight league titles, what it takes to get to the top there. Are they still in a mode of, okay, we're okay, we still have a long way to go?
Yeah, I think it is. You're right. They've been there for a while. It's the next game up. Got to put it behind us. Let's move forward. And that's the kind of attitude they take with them. So
good. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Let's talk about tennis here, sitting at 10-2 overall and 3-2 in the league. This is a very good league. Make no mistake about it. You got Lebanon coming up here. What are they looking to shore up as they move forward? They've got the ECC championship right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, our team is, like you said, they're 10-2. They are they're a good group. I want to highlight, a couple of our as I'm going through my notes here. There we go. Let me talk about our 3 big matches that we have here first. I mean, from a girls tennis perspective, we've got Indian Hill, Lebanon, and St. Ursula. So, I mean, again, you're going to have 3 tough matches coming up. The ECC tournament is that following Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, we got to take care of the little things we need to take care of. And I want to give a little shout out to our second doubles. We've talked about our 1, 2, and 3. We've talked about our first doubles who are undefeated as well, but our second doubles. So Babs Dwyer and Jenna Batch, who are also undefeated. They're doing a great job. I mean, this team, to your point, is loaded. They're having some success. And we want to try to celebrate all of these kids that are doing a fantastic job out there on the courts. And you're right, we got to finish it with 3 this week, and then the tournament comes next week. It's hard to believe that in tennis the ECC championships are next week, and the golf as well. It's blowing straight by us.
What does it say about your coaching staff that you were able to build such depth from top to bottom in the singles and now the first double, and as you mentioned, the second double, and the second double being undefeated right now? What can you say about the coaching staff and the way they've built up the quality of depth of this roster?
Yeah, so this is a new coach from last year. So the coaches prior and our middle school coach who is current, they've done a great job at just developing the kids, teaching them just about the sport, the enthusiasm they have for the sport, how to compete, how to have fun. And then as they progress over here to the varsity level, just learning how to compete at the highest level and really just being able to recruit and retain just athletes in general, which is a lot of these, the doubles that we see. Those are really, really good athletes, multiple sport kids. And that's what I think is the benefit of our coaching staff, is that they're able to recruit those kids and still give them opportunities to compete and to continue off the success. And success always breeds, the enthusiasm for the sport. So we would, just assume that this is going to continue from year to year.
You mentioned something there. I think it's quite interesting and maybe doesn't get talked about enough, is the middle school aspect and trying to garner interest from the kids in those grades before they even get into the high school ranks. How important is that for you at Loveland High School to foster that relationship with the middle school ranks and get those kids interested at an early age so by the time they reach Loveland High School, they're hitting the ground running and they're ready to go?
Oh, I think it's essential, Jason. And we have a middle school athletic director, Jason Bruce, who does an outstanding job. If we're talking about our girls tennis, Jenny Kapsakavich does a great job at recruiting tennis players. Our volleyball teams, our basketball teams, football, everything is in conversation. And it starts even really, goes beyond that. Our youth programs that we have here in Loveland are very tight. They want to always make sure that all the kids are going to the middle school and then heading up to the high school. It's very important to everyone here. So I think in Loveland, when you talk about a community, the community is a very strong base here, and we love to support and rally around everyone in the community. So, but that link between the youth and the high school is middle school, and it's critical. And we've got we have varsity level coaches that are down there, teaching and coaching at that level. So we are very fortunate.
Absolutely. And before we wrap up here, we got to talk about football. Even though there was no competition this past Friday, we're supposed to play a game against Milford, but a member of the Milford program tested positive for COVID-19, so the game was canceled. And we certainly wish that person a quick and healthy recovery there. So you're sitting right now, moving into week 4, but you're 0-2 right now, and you're going to go against Little Miami this week. Got a good shot at I think it looks like you got a pretty good shot at a win right here. Little Miami has struggled thus far, but I want to talk about, go back to everything that was going on with Milford, planning the game, then find out that somebody there has tested positive and the game is then waved off. How did Coach Cruz handle all of that? How did you handle all of that? And how have they moved forward in the game plan for Little Miami?
Well, I could sum it up in one word. It was devastating for our kids, and obviously, the health and safety go out to the Milford and their community and the individual athletes that tested positive there. But for our kids, and this point of this conversation was, they're prepared. They spent all week doing this. It's an important game for us. It's a backyard rival. We battle for the bell, as it's called, and that winner gets to take that bell home. They get to ring that bell. It's important. And our kids have gotten better and better each week. We talked about week 1 versus Turpin, what that could have looked like. Week 2 versus West Claremont. I mean, we were in it. We've lost a tough one, 13-7. We had the opportunity to go ahead at the very end of the game, and we didn't. But we learned from it, and we took that enthusiasm and that energy and pumped it into Milford week. And the kids were really ready to go. I think they are primed. They are excited. I think it's an opportunity for them to compete at their highest. The coaches have got it in a great spot. It didn't happen. The kids were obviously upset, but they will take that enthusiasm and they'll take it into Little Miami. And it's, kudos to them. Obviously it was devastating. It was kind of the wind out of your sails.
Yeah.
But guess what? We came in on Saturday morning and we hit the ground running. We were back up on the turf. We were in the weight room. So I've got to give a lot of credit to our players that could have easily just, thrown their hands up and walked away or not gave it their all on Saturday morning. But everybody was here. Everybody was in practice mode. They're all preparing for Little Miami. It's next step up. And I think our coaches have done a great job of saying, hey, this is our new reality. Every week, we're very fortunate if we get to play. And it's an opportunity. Let's embrace that and just continue to prepare. So good for them for again, facing some adversity like we did in the summer.
Yep.
And then overcoming. So
lastly, before I let you go here. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to our cheer team because these kids are also affected by this, right?
Yes,
so
they
they're
are.
out, they're cheering. Their parents come to the games, and they were featured on Warm 98. So Warm 98 came out here, pre-recorded them, interviewed them during this last week, put them on their Facebook. They, it was they did a cheer, and it was one of those deals where you vote for a team and they can win. But anyway, our team was extremely excited about that opportunity, and we were looking forward to it. And unfortunately, didn't get to compete. But hey, we turn the page and we move on. So I just want to say, thanks to all the cheer team and the cheer team coaches that continue to be relentless, because it was also our JV and freshman game that was canceled as well. So everyone lost the game. But we're back at it.
How has the cheer squad navigated through all of this? As you said, it's something they're there at these events, but they don't always get the attention. Some teams do competitions, some don't. How have they gone through this whole time?
They're outstanding. They show up to practice. They work. We've got the coaches that are great that, have practice times. They work. We have our competitive team who comes in on the weekends, and they're working on their routine for the ECC championships. So it's later on in the winter. But yeah, it affects all of us. If a game's canceled, they're all part of the deal, much like our band team is too. Yeah. So, they weren't going to away games, but nonetheless, it could happen at any time. And our band members, our marching band has over 90 people. So it's a lot vested on a Friday night. So when something doesn't happen, it's more than just a football team. It's everyone else.
Lastly, before I let you go here, now that they've had an unexpected week off, and now that you've got Little Miami coming up, as best you can, put on a fan hat for me. Are you wanting to see your team come firing out of the gates and maybe just put up 21 points in the first quarter?
Oh, 35 points.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's coming. Tiger Nation, it's coming. Like, they are here. It's hard to hold them back. You can see the development. Yes, I want to be able to see them just excited for the successes that they have. They've earned it. It's there. Let's go.
There we go. Let's go. And hopefully next week when we reconvene, we'll be talking about a huge win and a 35-point first quarter there as well. Brian Knatzer, great talking to you once again, and look forward to it next week.
See you next time, Tiger Nation.
All right. That is Brian Knatzer, Loveland AD, joining us here on LovelandTigers.org each and every week for This Week in Loveland Tiger Sports here in ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.